All right, welcome to another song title challenge where the question is, climbers, how would you write this one? In these little sort of bonus episodes that drop every other Friday, we have climbers, listeners of this podcast, send in their song titles. You send them to info@daredevilproduction.com. Info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular, there is no S. I put them in a folder. You have to put, by the way, STC or song title challenge in the subject line so that it gets in the right folder. If you don't, it won't. And then I go through, pick something I think might work with Brent and a guest that we have on the show. We spring the title on them. We try to cook up 5 or 6 different conceptual angles on how to write the lyrics. It's not a co-write in any way, shape, or form. It's just a fun, creative exercise. You, as the title owner, could use all of what we say, use none of what we say. It's totally up to you. We do demand an invite to the number one party, and it'll also be a bonus if there's an open bar for Johnny. Okay. And he's like, yeah. Yes. And that's it. You want to add anything to that, Brent?
Yeah, this is just, it's infotainment. We want to inspire you to dig more deeply into your titles, that there might be the platinum is hidden under the gold. So keep digging for the platinum. And so that's what this is for. It's fun. It's fun for me because I get to hang out with buddies and flex the old muscles. But it's also hopefully not just entertaining for you, but also educational and inspiring to go, man, keep digging in. Maybe the good stuff is just that next idea away. So,
well, Brent, I got to hand it to you because today's guest is straight up, I don't care how you define the word, legendary, Hall of Famer. We got a heavy hitter. You want to introduce our guest?
Yes, so it's my pleasure to introduce today's guest. He is he was voted into the National Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2020, but thanks to COVID, got inducted in 2021. But they got it done like they're supposed to. They got it done. So, man, our guest today has written, and I've told him this because I've had the pleasure of writing with him, is that a lot of those songs is why I moved to town in the first place. Songs like If Tomorrow Never Comes, Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up, It's Midnight Cinderella, She's Gonna Make It, Somewhere Other Than a Night, the George Jones, Garth Brooks duet, Beer Run, BEERRUN. Also Diamond Rio, That's What I Get for Loving You, I Can't Get Enough for Patty Loveless, Danny Gokey's CCM hit My Best Days Are Ahead of Me, more and more and more. So Kent Blasey, welcome to the climb.
Welcome.
Good to be here. Yeah.
Kent, thank you for saying yes to our show. We super appreciate it, man. This is going to be fun.
Well, anything that Brent asked for, I say yes. You, not so much. So,
well, we just met, but I grow on you, like
like a wart.
Like exactly, like things that can be taken off if it's frozen off, or anyway, freeze dried.
All right, so we have today's climber is Judy Blue is her name, and Judy Blue sent in the song title, "Save Me a Seat."
Song title.
Save Me a Seat.
Blue.
Yeah, but her name sounds like a song title. I think.
Oh yeah, right, Judy Blue, Judy Blue Eyes.
Judy
so
Blue
the song title once again, "Save Me a Seat." So my hot take on this is,
"Save Me a Seat." Okay.
I don't think I've heard a song title like this before.
There may be a reason.
Yeah,
that's always an option.
True. But I think so. Kent, in the past, when we've had, we were just before we pressed record, we were talking about Tony Arata, and I often use like the dance as an example, as a song title in a hook book. If you take away the lyrics, it's like, well, that's okay. It's not some winning before you're spinning song title, but then Tony writes it and it's like, what the hell? It's iconic. It's amazing. And so sometimes the most mundane kind of titles can be turned into something really, really incredible. So,
well, and the other thing on that one was the video that Garth did on that took it to a whole nother level too.
Yeah.
And I think it helped people understand the song by the depth of the video and the depth of the song. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, that was a beautiful timing of when video was big and the right artist that had the vision for that and really spelled it out for all us Neanderthals back in Arkansas who otherwise would have been like, they were dancing, that guy and that girl, and they broke up. Now we're thinking about John Wayne and John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good point. So Things I like about the title, I like the alliteration, right? Save me a seat.
Sure.
So that's always a plus for song titles. I don't know what it's about yet, but and so we talked about it before, but Kent, this is open to any genre, any style, any whatever. Really, no boundaries here because we don't know what Judy Blue writes. So
Yeah. You know, the thing of it is, what hits me right off the bat, it could be the title could be a gospel song, you know, like
mhm.
"Save Me a Seat at the Table" or something like that,
Yeah,
or you know, up there with Jesus or whatever. But it also
mhm.
could be a country song about a bar, you know, about you know, gonna show up at a bar that night and you know, I'm coming alone, so save me a seat somewhere or something like that. But
Yeah,
then it could be, you know, it could be a rap song too, or a R&B
mhm.
song, you know.
Yeah.
It can go many different ways. So
And that's part of the fun is the seat wear. I mean,
yeah,
like kind of
exactly.
the bro country thing is I don't know, is it the in the pickup truck, save me a seat in the pickup. I like you talking about like in heaven's banquet feast or whatever, save me a seat, preferably next to Jesus or at least as long as I'm in the room I'm okay. But maybe like next to Johnny Cash would be pretty cool. Or just
I
whatever,
love
just save
that.
me a seat.
Yeah.
Just I don't care, or even I don't care which one. Just get me in
Yeah,
there.
as long as I'm sitting there, I don't care where it is. Put me at the
Right.
end of the table, that's fine, you know?
I'll eat scraps. It's good. I'll sit
So,
under the table.
so how about what was the game? I always refer to uh, this game when I talk about like '80s hair bands with the genre just ending. It was like, what's the game where everybody's walking around the
Oh,
seats and when they
musical
lift the needle
chairs?
up,
Musical
musical
chairs.
chairs.
Yeah.
So if you use that as a metaphor to, let's say, meeting I think it'd be a great opportunity to like uplift a woman, right? And like you meet a girl in a bar, you're giving her the full court press, and maybe you have this amazing conversation or something, but she's involved with somebody else. And so she's not flirting, she's not doing anything
Mhm.
disrespectful, or she's just enjoying conversation with her human. Like, hey man, well, save me a seat. Like
If if he ever walks away, yeah,
yeah,
save me a
yeah,
seat
yeah,
next to
yeah.
you
If
kinda
he ever
thing.
pulls the needle up on the record, man, save me a seat, something like that.
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
a country hit a couple years ago about something. If he ever somethings, I forget what
Oh,
it
if he ever
was.
singles you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he ever
It sounds
singles you
like
up,
yeah.
call me, yeah. So, a version of that would be cool. What else is there? Yeah, so what a seat where? So, seat in heaven, seat you mentioned the hip hop thing, would that be like you know, like basically at the top of the charts or in the in the halls of power in the mansion or whatever that I'm gonna own all this
Yeah,
stuff,
in my
save me
Rolls
a seat.
Royce, you know, or my Ferrari,
Exactly.
save me a seat, you know, and come and get me when you get it.
Yeah.
What kind of seat? That's another thing too. Like, what kind of seat are we
Mhm.
talking about?
Yeah, and is it a male singing it or a female singing it? You know,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
it's like it takes on a different meaning if you got the girl saying, you know, save me a seat. Once you got a lot of money and you got a big car, you know, come get me.
Yeah. Come get
And
me
for
right.
hip hop, it could be "Save Me Your Seat" because they like big butts and they cannot lie.
I
Well,
know,
there
I
you
was
go.
thinking about, like, how to like, yeah, the seat of your pants.
Yeah,
How do you how do you roll that into that?
I'd save you a seat, but it's too big.
Exactly. Yes. It's gonna save me 2 seats. Um, or even, we can add stuff to the thing like, "Don't save me a seat because I'm gonna be driving." Is there a way to, like, don't
Ooh,
I'm not along for the ride, don't save me a seat, I'm gonna drive.
Yeah,
Um,
I
you
like
know,
that.
you think you're gonna save me a seat, like, I'm just along for the ride, but, don't save me a seat, I'm here to drive. Um,
There you go. You got half of a verse
there we go,
already.
we're already
yeah.
there.
And what you put, yeah, what you put after it too can be something huge. Like what are the words you can drop after "Save Me a Seat" that'll just be like, oh,
Yeah, give me a seat.
that's
Well, I
just a
was
big
thinking,
payoff.
like, what if it's kind of the little bit of here's a quarter, call someone who cares, or if the phone doesn't ring, it's me. Save me a seat
Right.
that I'm not going to go sit in, basically. Like, so you can miss me.
There
Save
you
me a
go.
seat.
I like
But
that.
There
Yeah.
it is,
kind
right there.
of like
Save me a
save me
seat
an
so you can miss me.
yeah, it's almost like save me an empty seat that's going to stay empty because I won't be there. But I
Yeah.
want you to think
Save
about me
me a
not
seat.
being there.
I'm not going to be there, but save me a seat just in case I change my mind.
Yeah, save me a seat.
See,
So
that's I like that one,
yeah.
Kent, because that's kind of real too. Like right, like in the in the wake of a fresh kind of breakup where there's the pain was enough that you had to leave, but at the same time, you start thinking all the good stuff, and your brain forgets the bad stuff, and you start romanticizing in a Hollywood way about how it used to be and all this. And so it's like, yeah, so save me a seat. It'll be empty, but just in case.
Just in
Yeah,
case,
I
right?
remember how it used to be. So in case I change my mind, save me
Save
a
me a
seat.
seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
That just happened.
And it
That
could be.
sounds like a girl song right there.
Oh yeah. And also, like, don't save me a seat. Like, kind of like if you dump me, whatever, don't save me a seat, because I'll be somewhere else. Like, don't save me a seat, because I'm not coming back. Could be a thing
Yeah,
too.
it's like you had your chance. You can call me up. You can say you got a seat for me, but that don't mean I'm going to show up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what if it's, you see the girl at the bar or whatever, and there's happens to be an empty seat next to her, and you're like, oh, so you saved me a seat, thanks. There's a way you have to twist that wording a little bit, but
Oh, that's
and it's kind of
perfect. So it's like
cocky,
a
like
pickup line.
it's a pickup line, like, oh,
It's the
Yeah.
perfect pickup line.
good, I was hoping you'd save me a seat.
Well, it's like the chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that. You could start it off. Hey, thanks for saving me this seat.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know her from anybody.
Right.
But I'm
Oh,
glad
that's
you
it.
knew.
There's the first verse. That's beautiful. There's the first verse. It starts with that. Hey, thanks for saving me a seat. And you
Yeah.
sit down and start to have this conversation. And maybe the first verse, the way you spell it out, it feels it's kind of like you can have uh, uh,
Like a reveal, like,
a Sixth Sense, or what's a Sixth Sense moment where
yeah.
you think that this guy's talking to somebody that he knows by what he's saying, and then in the chorus you drop the bomb like it's a pickup line, like and she's eating it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you illustrate that lyrically, but that
Yeah.
would be a really interesting concept.
Yeah, it's like,
That's
oh,
clever.
thanks for saving me a seat. Sorry about being late. I got here as fast as I could. I've been looking forward to getting to know you better. All the time. I'm like, what? I don't know you. Not yet,
But you will.
but you will.
You saved me a seat.
Yeah, come on. What do you expect?
It was meant to be. You saved me a seat.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Or
that's
yeah, I don't know if it was meant to be, or if you saved me a seat, or I don't know if you saved
Yeah.
me a seat, or if it was meant to be, but you're gonna like me. You're gonna get to know me.
What if that thing? And this is more of a storytelling thing too. Of like these two people that ended up on a plane next to each other, or on any sort of whatever, in a movie theater or some concert, whatever. They end up next to each other. They don't know each other, but that sparks of romance. And it's like, man, thank God, God decided to save me a seat next to you. Like, that was my spot. I was supposed to be next to you at that place, or you were supposed to be next to me at that place when we met. Totally happenstance, but you're putting that kind of divine, like this was meant to be, kind of polish on it. Of
Yeah, right place, right time.
Exactly.
You saved me. Thank you for saving a seat. That kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, I like that. What if it's at a bar and
You keep
he
going back
walks
to
up to a
bars. You
He
worry
does.
me about
He
that.
does. He definitely keeps going back
I'm
to bars.
thirsty, Kent. I'm thirsty right now.
The bars.
What if okay, so what if he goes up to like I might have gone off the rails on this one, but what if he goes up to like, say hi to a girl and she's saving the seat for somebody else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's like, maybe don't save me a seat, but it's in that spin, right? But he never shows up, like she gets shined or something happens, life gets in the way of that guy, doesn't show up, and so the seat was saved for somebody else. I don't know if
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, she's sitting there at the table for two by herself, and you can tell she's checking her phone like the guy hadn't shown up.
yeah.
And
If he doesn't show up, save me a seat.
yes, exactly. It's like, oh, thanks for, or almost. I mean, that could play into the other thing.
Or
Thanks, glad
there's
you
the
saved me a
there's the
seat.
storyline, Brent. That's brilliant. Like he's just watching her fiddle, and obviously she's being stood up, and she's feeling, bad about herself and all that stuff that happens. And so he kind of breaks the ice and breaks her out of that really horrible sort of self-loathing moment that we all have when you get stood up. And it's just like, hey, I noticed you saved me a seat, thanks. And he just sort of pretends like
Yeah.
he's supposed to be the date. You know what I mean? Like,
He's like, "Oh, you look vulnerable and feeling at a low ebb. Well, this is
Yeah.
time for me to strike." Maybe not say that part out
Hey,
loud.
were you
But no,
saving?
no, but he comes in and uplifts her and
Yes.
makes her laugh, you know?
Well,
Yes.
yeah. Were you saving the seat for me? You know, and you can tell she's waiting for somebody else. But
Mhm.
hey, it's that time you walk in when they're so vulnerable that I bet Johnny's so good at.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're hitting it off, Kent. I love this.
What about these are kind of falling out of fashion, but we don't worry about that on this part, is like the 3-act play. You know, it's a mix of How Can I Help You Say Goodbye and Love Me, you know, from Colin Ray and Patty Loveless, that, you know, like grandpa would always, or, you know, save me a seat whenever the whole family got together. Grandpa, you know, he'd save me a seat and he'd, you know, just paid attention
It's
to
like a
me. And maybe it was
colloquialism.
special. He'd save me a seat at the, you know, family get-togethers, Sunday dinners and stuff. He always let me sit by him. I always thought that was cool. And, or
Yeah,
on the porch, you know, he'd save me a seat, da da da. And then, of course, hope, you know, I just bet somewhere up in heaven right now, you know,
yeah.
he's saving
And you
me
know,
a
if it
seat.
was a granddad singing it or something, you know, it could even be, you know, someday I might not be here, but save me a seat anyway in my memory. You know,
Oh
it's like
yeah,
Ooh.
one
yeah.
less person at the table. You know that.
Oh,
Oh
see,
yeah.
okay, so that's not
Oh, that's a
necessarily a
heartbreaker right there.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I like that. That might be the winner because it's not necessarily a 3-act play, but maybe 3 different meanings to "Save Me a Seat," which kind of
Hmm.
are linked together, you know?
Right.
Something was what grandpa used to say, and then, um, uh, like, it was just a word of a thing, a expression of affection or something that somebody had in the family, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, it's
And then
also,
but
you
it
know,
means something else in the end,
yeah,
or "I'll save you a seat," or something like that.
maybe it's something Grandpa said because you know everybody rushes in to eat on Thanksgiving or whatever, and he's telling the little kid, "Hey, save me a seat," you know, next to you, and uh,
Mhm.
and then it progresses on, and then he's gone. But the
Yeah.
last, you know, he told him, "Hey, save me a seat at the table, even when I'm gone, and I'll be up there with Jesus at his table."
Right.
Yeah, I like that because then it's told from the same point of view. It could be current, and
Hmm.
it's not the 3-act play sort of structure, but it's thinking
Yeah.
back and thinking now, and
Yeah, there are
I
ways to kind of, as you present those, to present them in a more current way where it's all kind of in the moment, but it still has all the heart of those 3-act plays without the timeline, the linear storytelling. So I think that could be cool.
what
Um,
about okay, so what about if it's your sort of, what do they say, like your bestie is like a ride or die
mhm. Yeah,
thing, and so what if it's like what if it's a description of all the different kinds of seats? Like, it doesn't matter what we're doing as long as I'm with you, kind of a thing, you know?
yeah,
You were riding shoddy, uh, we're in this seat, we're in that seat, we're in the hot seat, we're in the all the different, you know, the box seats, we're in
yeah.
the nosebleed. I don't care as long as I'm with you.
Save me a
Just save
seat.
me a seat. Yeah, like
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah. Like I'm in it for whatever life kind of holds.
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
Save me a seat. Yeah, I like
yeah, I
that.
like that.
Um,
He's a genius.
there we go. How about
Yeah.
save me a seat in them pants? Save me a seat in them jeans. No. I don't even know what that means exactly. But I like it. The
Hold on,
hot
I
seat,
like
the
that
boss
though.
seat.
Let's think about that.
I know. Save me a seat in them jeans. What is that? Not even sure what that means. Um,
I'm thinking about it
I
though.
know. There's something interesting.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what I'm just like, I'm thinking about that.
I
Yeah.
know, huh?
Save me a
Yeah.
seat in them jeans.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that the
somebody
booty
says
call?
that to you, you're going to be
What's
thinking
that?
about it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
A booty.
I don't know. I don't
A
know.
seat. So what other kind of seats are there? There's seats on a board. There's seats on
Mm.
congressional seats. There's
Yeah.
what other kind of seats are there?
Yeah. Like you said, box seats, hot seats, shotgun. Save me a seat behind the wheel. You know, that kind of thing. Like I want to drive. Save me a seat.
A seat at the table, a seat at the game,
Hmm.
nosebleed seats, front row seats, front row.
Hmm. Which, by the way, if an artist did this, then you do a whole, you know, marketing campaign around "Save Me a Seat" and you give away, you know, a seat at your
Chairs.
show, you know, for the,
Oh,
of
I love
course,
that. I love that.
It's to save me a
That's
seat,
awesome.
and this
How
is a
about how
special
about
seat.
would you save me a seat?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
if we did this or if we did that, would you still save me a seat? You know,
yeah. Oh, it's a little bit of that. Would you lay with me in a field of stone? Almost like sentimentality. Would you save me a seat? If you could go anywhere in the world, would you save me a seat on that plane with you, or at dinner at your parents, or on the porch next to you? Would you save me a seat? Um,
okay, how about this? So here's a little bit more real world thing. Like, Janelle is my girlfriend, Kent, and we're always I used to be an artist back in the day, used to be in a hair band, and she'd always jokes, we never would have dated because you had long hair. And I just would never date. And I would always disagree. I'm like, no, no, no. You don't understand. It's the chemistry thing. Like you would have seen me and just it would have been against everything that you thought in your head, but you still would have come over and said hello,
I,
and we
I
would have
can
ended up
understand
dating.
that. I kind of feel that way right now.
I love you too, man. I really love that. But something like that, would you save me a seat if it was like this, or if I was that, or if I was,
Mm. Oh
would it
yeah.
matter what I did as a job? Would it matter what I look like? Would it matter what? And you just sort of maybe speak about, or
Hmm.
or more affirmative, like you'd still save me a seat. Maybe
Well,
it's a little
the
bit
other
more of
thing
a
it could be, so you had long hair, you were in a heavy metal kind of band, right?
yeah.
It could be, she says, I've never dated anybody with long hair, and I really don't want to. And you say, well, save me a seat in the barber's chair, I'll co-cut it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's good. So there's it. Oh, that's great. So
Yeah,
then it could be like, oh, see, I would cut my hair for you, or
I'll
save
cut
me a
my
seat.
hair for you. Yeah. Save
If
me a
my
seat in
teeth
the
are
barber's
bad, save me a seat in the dental office because I'll go in and get them fixed. Like,
chair.
whatever you want me to be, I want to be that for you. It's just like total expression of love. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I
Yeah,
wonder
it's make
also.
an appointment with your hairdresser to cut my long hair. So, save me a seat and
Yeah.
I'll show up.
Give me a perm. Um,
That's right.
and I wonder if it's almost like a engagement story or like a proposal. Like, would you save me a seat on that flight to Hawaii for the honeymoon? Will you save me a seat on the rocking, that next rocking chair over on the front porch for the next 50 years? Would you save me a seat? Something
Oh,
like
that's
that. Or
good.
I guess the easier way to flip it would like, I'll save you a seat. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not the title we're working with. But I think it'd be a little easier. Like, I want to save you a seat, or I'll save you a seat for all the rest of my life, kind of thing. So
But I like the way you said that initially, Brent,
but would
because
you
it's like,
save me a
would you
seat?
save me a seat? It's like a
Yeah,
proposal. Like,
yeah.
will you marry me?
Will you marry
Like,
me? Right.
oh, I love that.
But it also could be like Brent was saying at the very beginning, where a guy walks into the bar and there's an empty seat next to a pretty girl, and he says,
Mhm.
"Oh, were you saving that for me?" And then it goes on to, they get something going, and will you save me a seat here on the plane, and the
Mhm.
rocking
Oh
chair.
yeah,
It could be, thanks for saving me this seat.
yeah.
We can do this anywhere.
Oh, I love that. Also, I like how you're coming around to the bar thing, Kent. I know that you and me,
You're an
we're from the
inspiration.
mothership.
Yeah.
No, that's great though. I like how you twist up the meaning of
Mhm.
save me a seat. That's
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
cool.
We got a lot of good looks at this.
I got one more. It's coming back to the gospel thing, like kind of where Kent started. Is like, what was that song of like, "Save me a seat on that glory train"? Kind
There
of
you
like an
go.
old
Yeah.
Southern gospel. Save me a seat on that glory train. I'm heaven bound. I'm claiming Jesus' name, and I've da da da. Save me a seat on that. And each verse could be like, save me a seat at that banquet table up in heaven. Save me a seat. Like basically saying, I'm calling it out. I'm saved. Save me a seat. And maybe
Yeah.
it's like, now that I'm saved, save me a seat. Lord, hallelujah, I'm
Oh,
saved. Save me a seat.
Save me a
oh,
seat on that glory train. I'm ready to ride.
that just
Exactly.
happened.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now that
So
I'm
that could be
saved,
fun.
save me a seat.
Yes. Hallelujah, I'm saved. Save me a seat.
I
So,
love that. Oh, okay, okay. So same. I'm just gonna take this over to the secular world and just bastardize the whole
Highway
thing. But
Highway to Hell?
what if it's no? What if it's this actually happened to me? This actually happened to me. I was bartending in Nashville in mid '90s, and one of the cocktail waitresses was just totally getting hit on by this one guy, and he just wasn't taking no for an answer. It kind of wasn't letting her go, and she was having a hard time with it. He wasn't being disrespectful or anything, but she had, clearly wasn't interested. And she had just started working there. I didn't know her very well, but I just sort of walked over to the end of the bar right where they're having this conversation. I was like, "Hey, hon, did you pay the electric bill today?" You know what I mean? Just to save her the thing. And so there, something like that. Now that I've saved, now that you saved me, will you save me a seat, right, or something
Yeah.
like that, where you can have a clever little sort of intro that's colorful and maybe cinematographic introduction, but then they kind of fall in love.
Yeah, like he's going, "Hey, honey, I saved you a seat down here so she can get away from that guy." And
Yeah.
kind of
He
leads me
gives
to
her an
think,
out, so she didn't have to be. He's a customer, right? Like she's trying to be polite, and he's overstepping the boundary.
right.
And so you can kind of put an end to that, and then they end up dating, and fall in love, or whatever.
Yeah, it makes me think like, you saved me when you saved me a seat, which is messing with the title a little bit, making it saved, but you really saved me when you saved me a seat. And that can mean so many things.
Yeah. So
Look at this. We're 26 minutes in, and we got like 15 looks at it. That was
This is
awesome.
fun.
So does she have an idea where she wanted it to go, or do we not get to hear that?
We don't get to hear that. I mean, sometimes they send it in, but honestly, it's not about that. It's about finding all the different ways to go. And if maybe we hit on one of those ways that the title owner liked to begin with, and we set them off there, or maybe they're like, "Oh, I didn't think about it that way. I like this idea better."
Well, all I'm saying is when she has a #1 song, she better save me a seat.
Hey!
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Kemp Lazy, thank you so much for saying yes.
Guys, what
This
fun.
is a
Thank
blast.
you, guys. Let's
Thanks,
do it
man.
again.
Oh,
Let's
heck
do it.
yeah.
I love it. Dude, you're fun to play in the sandbox with.
Same here,
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another killer song title challenge. Make sure that you send your song titles in, as many as you want, but only send in one, like don't send me in duplicates is all I'm saying. Send them to info@daredevilproduction.com, put STC or song title challenge in the subject line, and maybe you can get a monster songwriter like Kemp Lazy to help you flesh out some ideas with us mere mortals, Kent, Brent, and myself. So Kemp Lazy, once again, thank you so much. This podcast exists because
you, guys.
we want you to win, so keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.